What is going on, everybody? It is Alex coming back at you with another video. And today we're going to be doing another Mock the Mock on PFF's mock draft. So since I'm signed up for PFF Elite, I actually get emails when they drop their mock draft. So woo. Excellent investment, by the way, guys. If you guys are a student, you get always 50% off on all their stuff. So definitely check that out. And also, big news, I'm starting a podcast. Yes, it's going to be called the Hail Mary Podcast, but since that's already taken, it's Hail Mary Sports, the Hail Mary Podcast. Link will be down in the description below, along with a brand new website. Yes, there's going to be a website that you guys can do and see all my articles and stuff like that I will be putting up over the off season. So check that out because I'm not going to lie, I'm pretty happy about that. I put a lot of time into it and I know that you guys will enjoy. But without further ado, let's kick in right into the video because still at number 1 overall, Aiden Hutchinson. So I got called out because I thought Aiden Hutchinson did pretty well. Yes, statistically, he did not do well. He had 1 pressure in the entire game. And apparently he got sat on his ass 2 plays in a row. You watched the play, he got sat on his ass. The guy was off leverage trying to make a move. Okay. That's easily fixable. The guy's an absolute beast. I love him. Okay. He is a phenomenal athlete. He's a great player. And he's a guy who worked on himself to adjust his play. He could have came out last year and been probably an early 2, late 1, right? Especially with how the edge class was, it wouldn't have been a surprise. But he decided to work on himself, lose the weight, change his style, and became an absolute dominant threat. So he's a beast. I love him. Good tip of my cap to Aiden Hutchinson here. I will say that his performance does not solidify him as the number 1 player. And after further review, I have Evan Neal as my number 1 prospect, especially factoring in age, right? Like you look at Evan Neal, True Jr., it's like, holy shit, that guy is not supposed to be that good. But Aiden Hutchinson is still a solidified number 2. He's an absolute monster. So cheers to him. I think Evan Neal should be considered at this pick. Number 2, Detroit Lions, KT. He fits the Lions. I think he's a little more inconsistent than what other people think. I think he's been that since high school. I remember watching him live and like you see those high end reps, but you also see the low end ones. So for people to say he's going to be a guaranteed boom in the NFL, I would push back a little bit, but you see those high end reps and it is crazy. He has those big flashes. And even when injured, he can still have an excellent game that shows one hell of a drive. And this guy, he is the real deal. He is a really good player. Again, I would just be a little bit more concerned about how he's going to perform A in the run game, but B on a down to down basis. 3 Texans gained Derek Stingley. I just don't I think they're riding a little bit too much on this true freshman year. Again, that is who he is, right? We saw what he could be, and that's what's going to get him drafted this high. But we also have to see who he is now, and injuries change how people play, right? You get a knee surgery, your knee isn't the same anymore, right? I think he's had like an ankle injury. He's had a couple of injuries to his legs, and that is going to be, it's going to be a legit thing to consider. Medicals are going to be huge on his draft stock. If they don't check out the way they should, then we could see him falling to the mid first. That is something that could happen. I don't think he's a bona fide top 3 pick. I don't. And I know that you guys don't either. So it is possible for a team like the Texans to ride on the hype because they, A, could rest him if they wanted to, but B, it's not like they get much worse, right? So you take a chance on getting your next Jalen Ramsey and be able to take Derek Stingley. Again, the past 2 years cannot be erased, but also you can't erase what happened in his freshman year because we saw what he could be. So personally, I think Evan Neal is going to be there. I know one of the great commenters down in the description, Sarah, will agree with that. So shout out to you, Sarah. Number 4, New York Jets, Kyle Hamilton. Again, I think this is a perfect pick. Apart from the fact that Evan Neal is here. So personally, as much as I love Kyle Hamilton, I believe he is my number 3 player in the draft, which soon you guys will be able to access all of that stuff with Hail Mary Sports Premium. That's a big project, but we'll get back to that another time. I think that the value of an offensive tackle is exponentially more. So even though Kyle Hamilton is a unicorn, I think that Evan Neal is up there as well. Not as good as Penei Sewell, in my opinion. Even Evan Neal, I don't think he's as good as Penei Sewell because Sewell had one unique trait that made me fall in love with him. And that was he used one arm to reach and then one arm to continually impact the player. He kept refiring one of his arms, which is incredible because even if you get one arm chopped down, you still have another one coming into support. It's a long offensive line description that you guys probably don't want to hear. Probably will hear it though when we look at Evan Neal and do all the prospect breakdowns in the off season. So just saying, he is a beast. Number 5, Giants is Karlaftis. I think it's a good pick apart from Evan Neal is on the board. Stop underrating Evan Neal. Who cares if he's putting up 70 grades? You watch him play. And then again, no one can trust the statistics on PFF, right? It's a very good guideline. Even PFF analysts use it as a guideline for what they're looking at, because otherwise, well, they wouldn't be bringing up how Stingley has a 91.7 in his freshman year, but not anywhere near that in the past couple. Evan Neal's a beast, though. I love him. George Karlaftis fits this team perfectly. So if they take him at this point, we got to see what the next pick is because I haven't seen it yet. This is a live reaction. We have to see about the offensive line. Carolina Panthers taking Evan Neal. Oh, goddamn. That'd be great. That'd be a lot better than any quarterback you draft in this class by a long shot. If this happens, I pray to God that they take him. Like Evan Neal, again, I think should be the number 1 overall pick. But, I mean, if he falls, like no matter after 1, apart from the Lions who have already solidified their tackle situation, pretty much every team could use him. 7, Giants, Jesus. Jets, Nakobe Dean. Wow. I did not expect that one, to be 100% honest with you guys. Did not expect that at all. That's really high. That's really high for a guy that, yes, I have a lot of respect for him. I have him as a top 15 player in the class. Just with the positional value and the inconsistency of hitting on a linebacker, I would be very scared to take a linebacker of Nakobe Dean's size and stature at number 7. And that's not even factoring the fact that you should be going after guys like Ikem Ekwonu, Tyler Linderbaum, not to mention there's just a plethora of other guys you should take. So getting Nakobe Dean at 7 is a bit of a misfire to me. But again, I mean, Nakobe Dean's an excellent player. If he goes in the top 10, I understand it, but I don't think it's going to be going to the Jets. I think linebacker is a great value in the 2nd. You got guys Christian Harris is in there, Brandon Smith, Chad Muma. Like these guys are legit. So I don't think you need to go at number 7 with a linebacker when the value of position in the linebacker in the 2nd is worth a hell of a lot more than it is at other positions of need. Giants getting Linderbaum, that's a chef's kiss pick. Yeah, I think that it's more realistic for them to go 1 offensive lineman, 1 defensive in this draft, or 1 defensive player, 1 offensive in the first round. Again, it's just not realistic, even though I would personally go 2 offensive linemen. We have to understand that this is a mock draft. This isn't what we would do mock draft, which will be coming out. You'll see that coming soon. So yeah, Tyler Linderbaum, he's gonna be an amazing player. He is right now graded like 0.25 below Aiden Hutchinson. And I believe that's not factoring in age as well. So yeah, he's a really, really damn good player. He has some flaws to him. But they're far from something that I would be legitimately concerned about, because when you watch him play, you just know he's a blue chip prospect. You know that guy you watch him, he's like, this guy's legit. He has unbelievable athleticism too. Number 9, Washington football team, Sam Howell, my QB1 of the class. I'm happy he's going here. Yeah, no, he is incredible. He's an incredible player. I'm happy before the bowl game that I said that he was my QB1. I rewatched all the tape and I realized with the offensive line he has, with the running back situation he has, no disrespect to Chandler, but I mean, it ain't no Javonte Williams, right? It's obviously not Michael Carter. Sam Howell has been doing a very good job with 1 weapon in Josh Downs, who I think is an absolute stud. So bring him to a team where he gets to be back with De'Ami Brown, bring him to a team that has a better offensive line, has similar style of running back, and then just let him cook, man. Let him cook. This guy is a legit threat. If you try to say like, oh, some of his decision-making is a little bit questionable, if you say that about him, you better be willing to say that about every quarterback in the class, because That's unfortunately a big flaw of this entire offensive draft or entire quarterback draft. Atlanta Falcons, Mccrary listed as an interior offensive lineman. I'll say why I don't like him being listed as interior offensive line. When I did my tape study on him and I watched like about 4 games on him, this guy is not good in the run game. That's the weirdest takeaway I ever had, because you watch him over the season and then obviously you're not solely laser focused on him. You're watching the whole game and then you get to see some plays he makes. It's like, wow, like holy shit. He is not that good. This 93.8 run blocking grade is not right. Like you watch him, he whiffs a lot. Doesn't look like he's understanding where to block a lot, but he's good in the pass pro. That was my big takeaway. And am I wrong? Maybe. I don't think so. I've been pretty right about these guys. And I think Ekem is an absolute monster. Like his physical power is something I haven't seen. Like he will have his legs planted still and you'll still be able to throw somebody. That is unbelievable upper strength. And then he's able to truck somebody with his legs. Like the amount of strength on this man is ridiculous. But I think he should be a tackle. If he is a guard, I think that might help him out in the run game. But also, this guy's a freak. So if he does end up being an interior offensive lineman, I'm not going to complain about it. But I think you're really missing the chance of him developing into a true blue chip left tackle. He's not among the blue chip players for me, actually, right now. Even though his grade suggests it, I don't think that he's going to make it into that. I'm not confident with saying he's a bona fide blue chip prospect in this class. Broncos, Matt Corral. This was after his injury, but again, it was scary at the beginning seeing Matt come out in crutches. The scans and everything showed that they came back negative, so nothing major. Thank God, because Matt Corral's one hell of a competitor. I do think it will drop his draft stock, even though it came back negative. This guy's been injured multiple times, even in this year. He's one hell of a competitor, but his size cannot be underplayed. He's 205 pounds. He looks 205 pounds. It's not Malik Willis where he's like 210, 215 and looks like he's 230, right? Matt Corral looks 205 and he loves to lower the shoulder, man. You can't do that in the NFL. You go up against Jesse Bates even. I'm not going to put him up against like Roquan Smith. Jesse Bates in a one-on-one, you lower your shoulder, you're toast, right? That's not Jamal Adams either. I'm just saying Jesse Bates, you're not going to do well against. And those are tendencies that I'm a little bit scared of. Right now, he's my quarterback 3 in the class, arguably quarterback 4. He's playing a little bit of game with Kenny Pickett, but Pickett has one tendency that I've talked about before. I do not like. Vikings going sauce. Yeah, after what he did in the CFP playoffs, this is probably as low as he'll go. The guy's an absolute stud. I think he's probably a blue chip prospect at this point. He is not allowed he's not allowed over, I think, 20 or 40 yards in coverage this entire season in a game. That's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. Garrett Wilson to the Browns. I love it. He's so damn good. He can play inside, outside, and he's done it excellently every single year. I don't know why people aren't talking about this guy more over even guys like Jameson Williams, who are very talented. Eagles getting Trent McDuffie. I'm just not a huge fan of him. I'm just honestly, that's actually the one article I have on the website. So feel free to check that out. The link will be in the description. But yeah, I just am not a huge fan of his athleticism. He doesn't have the best ball skills in my eyes. And then he doesn't have, there's a couple statistics in there that drop his grade in the right scheme. This one could be the right scheme. This guy's worth a first rounder, right? Like that's where the score never adds up. This guy's an absolute beast when he's in the right scheme, though. Like he has a great bailout. He also is very solid with his play recognition. So, the guy is a very good corner. I just think that he needs to be the right scheme. And I think that scheme specificity drops player value. And that means the Eagles don't have to spend this pick on Trent McDuffie. Bottom line, because he doesn't fit every team, you can wait. There you go. Probably should have just said that. But the Saints are going Jameson Williams here. I think that's a solid pick, except for the fact that I think you got to look at quarterback as well. That being said, I hope they bring back Jameis and try him out for one more year and see what happens. I think that will be the best value to go wide receiver in the 1 and not have to worry about a quarterback or draft a quarterback in the 2nd. I think that the wide receiver talent in the first is exponentially better than the second. And that's kind of scary because we've been in drafts where the talent in the third is rivaling some of the second and late first of this class. 16 Ravens, Quan Brisker. I can see him going this high. It really you got to see what he tests out at, right? That's going to be a big tester for him. But I see this guy tracking guys down on the field. Like, he is extremely athletic. Just got to see what that is in numeric form. But Jaquan Brisker is a really good player, and I'm pretty sure I forgot it's Anthony something. I think it's not Anthony Harris, but your strong safety is up for a contract. This is a potential position of need. And after watching Trevor Penning a bit more, I can understand the upside, but there are a lot of holes in his game as well. So Jaquan Brisker is definitely a guy to be pretty proud of. And ouch. Here we go. 17 with the Steelers. So I have Desmond Ridder as an early fourth. Yeah. I used to go up against Broshmo on that because, I mean, we all knew he was inaccurate and his ball placement wasn't great, but he was a winner, right? And finally he went up against NFL quality talent. And yeah, he did that against Notre Dame. I watched that game. He is terrible. Absolutely terrible. He probably throws 1 or 2 out of every 10 passes on target. Like, I can do that. I go up to the field with my buddy and I'll throw 2 passes directly on target. Now, the accuracy might be a little bit different, right? Like, I'm sure that Desmond Ridder gets to his target a little bit more than I do, but the placement is absolutely terrible. It's horrific. You guys have to watch every throw he makes because it is awful, like straight up awful. It's like back here, guys are coming back for it. You see like 3 perfectly placed balls a game. That's not going to cut it in the NFL. I don't know why more people aren't talking about this. And then the Alabama game just proved that when he's going up against real NFL talent, the holes really start to show. So not a fan of this pick at all. When you got Malik Willis on the board, when you got even Kenny Pickett, for fuck's sake, for Kenny Pickett on the board, just no. I don't know why they talk about accurate pass rate deep when his wide receivers get enough separation to slow down. It's like it's a Mac Jones situation, except Mac Jones actually put the ball on target quite often. 18 Raiders, Chris Olave. They do need a wide receiver pretty desperately. I think that guys like Kenyon Green should be on their board, but I cannot complain because, again, I wish I could see a second round. I do. Eagles getting Devin Lloyd. I could see it happening. That being said, they haven't drafted a first-round linebacker since 85, right? They moved up over Micah Parsons to draft a wide receiver. I will just say pump the brakes on a first-round linebacker, regardless if we actually should be drafting them or not. Like, I think that a first-round linebacker should be a pick you do. However, again, there is much to be loved about this second-round tier of linebackers. And funnily enough, according to my grading scale, Muma is a first. I'm not going to put him there. He's like a late first. But, yeah, it's like I think that guy like Chad Muma in the second is going to be a ridiculous steal. Obviously, you could even see a safety here. But, with Jaquan Brisker off the board, I'd be a little bit worried. So, I'm not really a huge fan of this Eagles draft, guys. You guys got to let me know what you think. You got Trey McDuffie here, and then Devin Lloyd's good. But I just there's something about that Trey McDuffie pick that's continuing to rub me the wrong way. Chargers, Jordan Davis. The more I watch Jordan Davis, the less I'm confident in him as I go from one extreme to the other, but I'm finally starting to settle a little bit in the middle where I'm realizing he has some extremely high-end reps, but the guy just can't stay on the field. He's not built to be a first-round pick. This is not where you draft a run stuffer. If you're going to want to take a shot on interior defensive lineman, you might as well go to Marvin Leal because you see what he could do on the edge, and then he put on a bit of weight. So maybe if you get him back into shape, you can have that burst from the interior. That's the only thing I could say is a possible upgrade at this point because Jordan Davis is good, but I honestly think he is possibly the third best interior defensive lineman, not in this draft, on his team. Yeah, just Jordan Davis is unique though. That's the reason why he's going to be drafted as high is because not many people are as big as him. And he does have some crazy reps. Eagles getting Drake London. Yeah, I could see it happening. I can. I just think that when you have like when Jameson Williams was on the board, when Chris Olave was also on the board, that might have been the right spot to go after somebody like that. But again, Drake London here. I mean, Drake London's so damn good. You guys gotta just continue watching this guy. He lights it up. And honestly, the injury to him will be a benefit to every team in the future that is going to be able to take him because he falls a bit. Dolphins going Charles Cross out of Mississippi State. He should not fall this far. He graded out actually as one of my. He was graded out as my number 2 tackle above Ikem Ekwonu. And Ikem has the upside of the physicality. Charles Cross, I still have some very big issues with him as as an anchor point of view. It's a lot better than it was last year, though. He's able to reestablish anchor, and that's a big plus to me because everybody's going to get knocked back a little bit. If you can reestablish your anchor and then get back to it, that's kind of what matters. Just there were some red flags on tape. I don't think this class is nearly as good as the last one, but Charles Cross has no reason falling this far. 23 Patriots, Roger Mccrary. I could see it. Roger Mccrary does feel like a Patriot. I don't know why. It really feels like a Patriots move. So taking him here makes 100% sense. He's been upgrading every single year. He's a very talented corner, and he's athletic. So this is a perfect spot to take him. Arizona Cardinals getting Andrew Booth. I wouldn't mind it at all. I know that my boy Red C might mind it because he probably wants to go a different position, but the athletic upside of Andrew Booth will not have him fall this far. He's been playing very well at the end of the season. He's going to, recency bias will show that he's a very good corner and he's going to test out like a freak. Those two things are going to jump his draft stock. If you flip this with the Trent McDuffie pick, I'm not saying like they take Trent McDuffie here, but this is where Trent McDuffie would go around like that range, and then Andrew Booth up at the Eagles. I think that's a bit more realistic, but Andrew Booth here, just like the testing number is going to be ridiculous. Bills getting Kenyon Green. I actually have him graded as a first-round left tackle and a second-round guard. Yeah, when you watch him play, there's just some big, big, big holes in his game that I'm a bit worried about. So, yeah, I think that if he's a left tackle, he's going to make it in this NFL. He played a lot of snaps at left tackle this year because I went to go and watch him as a guard. This guy plays guard for like 30 snaps, and then all of a sudden there's a left tackle injury, and he moves to left tackle, and he plays way better. I'm like, what is this shit? Then he plays up against Alabama at left tackle. And he plays amazingly. Like this guy, I think, should be a left tackle. He has some lateral mobility issues, but if he slims to 320 over 325 and maybe works a little bit with some NFL trainers, he has everything else in there to be able to be an absolute dominant left tackle. Bengals Bernard Raymond. Like, I got to give him some credit because he is 2 years into tackle position. I think he is my tackle 5 or 6 at this point. The guy's a very talented lineman. Like, there's just some very big flaws in his game too. Like, not many of these tackles are going to be able to project very well year one from what I've seen so far. But Bernard Raymond, given his lack of experience, is incredible. Like, you have to give him some credit there. So will that get him drafted here? Maybe. Honestly, I thought he wasn't that athletic. When I was watching him play, he was not. He's kind of like unathletic at his size, especially for a guy who's 305 pounds and a former tight end. Just weird. So 27 Dallas Cowboys, Kyrie Elam. Honestly, with Trayvon Diggs has allowed over 1,000 yards in coverage this year. I wouldn't mind them getting some extra support there. Kelvin Joseph apparently looked pretty well his first game that he played, but that doesn't solidify him as the guy who is supposed to be corner 2. You kind of got to get richer. Just because you have somebody okay to good doesn't mean you can't get someone great. And this is the best value, but Jordan Battle's on the board. That's where I would personally go. You also have offensive linemen on the board that you could take. I think Tyler Smith as a guard could be an outstanding pick here. I restudied him. I think he's a solidified guard. I don't think he's a left tackle. Big holding concerns with guys who bend around him. So I'm a bit worried about that lateral mobility, but oh my God. I don't know if I've seen some, like he and Ikem Ekwonu are challenging each other for most strong offensive lineman. And Tyler Smith is a redshirt sophomore. Of course, I mean, I'm pretty sure Ikem Ekwonu is a junior, but I'm just saying like both those guys are young as hell. And this team could definitely use a legit threat in the run game. So just saying, he's a beast. Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Treylon Burks. Yeah, I mean, after Antonio Brown's gone and, probably Godwin might be gone too, you got to continue investing in this offense. I would not mind them going wide receiver anymore, especially with a guy like Treylon Burks on the board. Kansas City going Arnold Ebiketie. Yeah, it's interesting. I think he's an amazing player. He just doesn't match up to a guy like Jermaine Johnson that could be fun on this roster. Or I have both of them higher than Kingsley and Nagbear, but I think it would work a bit better. Arnold Ebiketie's a beast, though. I would not complain. I just think there might be a better fit. But again, that's up to the teams, not really up to me. Detroit Lions, Malik Willis, that's just a damn steal. He's such a beast. I love him. Tennessee Titans, Jahan Dotson out of Penn State. I could see it. I think at this point, though, you might want to look at a different position. But again, I cannot complain about them reinvesting in their wide receiver core when they have pretty much one receiver. He's not even consistently healthy, A.J. Brown, but you got to help out somehow. 32 Packers, DeMarvin Leal. They do need some help on that interior, and he is, you can use him on the edge as well. I think the versatility as well as what he could be, what you've seen from him, the upside's ridiculous. So that's going to be the draft, guys. I think it provided some unique picks. Some terrible, but some unique. So let me know what you guys think. Thank you guys so much for watching. See you on the far side. Peace.